Today, after the holidays, welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from Lagos, our global headquarters. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed with the big happenings in the polity and in politics. President Bola Tinubu sacks Group CEO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mr. Kyari, appoints Bashir Ojulari as new boss. Ahmed Musa Kida, now non-executive chairman, replacing Chief Pius Ojulari. I broke no law in organizing my homecoming rallies. Senator Natasha replies Kogi State government who accuse her of defying government orders suspending political rallies. And today is Judgment Day for the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja in the case filed by the candidate of the PDP, Ojulari, challenging the outcome of the governorship polls held in September 2024. Thanks again for joining us. Let's get things started. Two broad conversations I'll have today on the program. One has to do with what played out in Kogi State yesterday, and the other has to be zooming into the insecurity in Benue State. But let's begin by letting you know that residents of Edo State are anxiously awaiting for the outcome of the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja, which is set to deliver judgment any moment from now in the case filed by the candidate of the PDP, Ojulari, challenging the outcome of the governorship election held in September last year. The three-man panel led by Justice Wilfred Bochi had on March the 3rd reserved the judgment after parties in the matter have adopted their final written addresses. The People's Democratic Party and its governorship candidate are challenging the victory of Governor Mando Okpebholo of the All Progressives Congress, alleging that the election was not conducted in compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2024. The PDP and Mr. Ojulari brought 19 witnesses before the tribunal and tendered numerous documents to back their claims, while the APC called for 4 witnesses. INEC called none. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has sacked the group CEO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mr. Kyari, and approved Engineer Bashir Ojulari as his replacement in what has been described as sweeping reconstitution of the petroleum company. The president also removed all board members, appointing new board with Ahmed Musa Kida as non-executive chairman. All appointments are effective today, April the 2nd. In a statement by the president's aide, Bayo Nanuga, the president, invoking powers granted under Section 59, subsection 2 of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, emphasized that the board's restructuring is crucial to enhancing operational efficiency, restoring investor confidence, driving economic growth, and advancing gas commercialization and diversification. The president also asked the new board to conduct strategic portfolio review of the NNPC operated and joint venture assets to ensure alignment with maximization objectives. And later today, the president will be departing for Paris, France, on a short working visit. During that visit, the president will appraise his administration's midterm performance and assess key milestones while also reviewing the progress of ongoing reforms and engage in strategic planning ahead of his 2nd anniversary. He'll return to Abuja in about 2 weeks. And away from that, the senator representing Kogi Central in the 10th National Assembly, I should say, Senator Natasha has defended her position, insisting she did not break any law after receiving a rousing welcome from her supporters, despite a ban on rallies and procession and the imposition of a curfew by the local government chairman in Okehi. Addressing a crowd of supporters at the residence in Ihima, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan says she's committed to her people and dismissed attempts to intimidate her.
Communicate our needs. In everything we do, we put God first. And we communicate our needs to God through prayers. But then we also have human beings. And God walks his ways through people. My husband is one of them. If not because of the resources, his words of encouragement, Every day, even while we were coming here today, he kept on telling me, believe in your cause, stand strong. It is well. When he wants to make a purpose, he brings people with resources to you. We read on the news that rallies, gatherings will not be allowed, that roads will be blocked, convoys leading into the states will not be allowed. I knew that we were the targets. But then I said, this is not political season, this is not campaign time. We are not having a rally. This is just me, the senator representing Kogi Central, coming down to have people to celebrate this festive time, the Salah, with you. And there is nothing wrong in that. I am breaking no law. This is Nigeria. We have the right to be free, to express our choice in gatherings and celebrations.
The Kogi State government has actually responded to that rally. Let's take a listen to Mr. Kingsley Fowler, the Commissioner of Information.
She has committed the offense of having a procession when the state government, acting on credible intelligence, directed that there should be no procession. She also addressed a rally. She will call it homecoming to greet her people about Salah. Where did they talk about Salah there? All her address were political, to incite the people against constitutional authorities at the federal level and at the state level, to create panic and tension and ensure that there is violence. That was just what happened today. So that's a clear violation of the statement and the directive of the state government. When you talk about the freedom of association has limitations. When your association is going to constitute danger and it is going to affect the rights and freedom of others, then such an association cannot be defended. And now that we are seeing where some of those threats are coming from our intelligence reports show that there was going to be a major crisis as a result of some activities of unscrupulous personalities. And for her to come to the state and try to incite the people against the Senate President, against the former governor of the state, against the current governor of the state, we are leaving the whole thing to the security agencies that have been given the mandate to enforce it. I'm very sure they will review it and take the necessary actions.
All right, let's have this conversation in just the time we have with the former PDP House of Assembly aspirant joining us from Abuja studio, Ms. Kuburat Okolo, joining us from Abuja studio. Ms. Okolo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Having me.
All right, so let's get straight to it. The government has responded. Senator Natasha said, look, I didn't break any law. I just came to have Salah with my people. The government is saying, no, we had put out an information due to security concerns. You're not supposed to organize any gathering of any form, political gathering. And they're even saying things she said there, bordering on inciting violence, allegation of assassination. So many things were said. Were you at that rally? What did you hear? And what is playing out in that senatorial district as we speak?
Okay, thank you very much. I wasn't actually present at the rally, but I followed it closely on social media. Well, the 1979 Constitution provides for her to say what is on her mind. She's a Nigerian, she's an Ibira woman, and she's allowed to visit her people back home. And what you clearly saw was somebody visiting her people at home. And she made sure she didn't break all the laws they put in place. It's not really laws because they are instructions. They are not law. It's not written anywhere that she can't go to Kogi Central. She landed in a chopper, and she was landed in her country home in Hima. And she talked to her people. They were the ones that sent her to the National Assembly, so they need to be given feedback on what has been happening on the national, stage. So that is what happened. And the state government is always in the habit of when they're trying to strangulate the people's will, they come with the pretext of there's security concerns, as we saw during her election for her senatorial bid. The roads going to her home in Hima were dug out going to her home in Hima were dug out just to frustrate her movement, you know. And the thing is, every time they do this, Senator Natasha comes out stronger, and she's the people, you know. Thank you.
All right, so let's dig a little further. What if their concern was that besides the other incident that had happened across the state, according to what the government had put out in their statement, which is why they were banning all of the things they were banning and trying to regulate the environment as the time may be, and even the local government chairman imposing a curfew. One of the things they said was that they don't want a situation where violence will be incited and people will resort to self-help. And they are saying that some of the assertions she made were inflammatory. Allegations of assassination, allegations of plan to remove her, and just calling and dropping names and all of that. What if things had gone wrong? Would she have taken responsibility for what would have happened if things had gone wrong?
Thank you very much. Well, what I want you to know is that Senator Natasha is not a careless talker. You know, before she made the statement she made, I'm very sure, I assume she has all her facts in place. So, and she's a very peaceful person, and her followers knows what she's all about. So, even before it happened when they issued that statement that convoys were going to be restricted, well, we all know it was because of her, because they're giving reasons why convoys are going to be restricted for unrest that started, I think, 2023 in Kogi East, Ankpa local government. And it was between two towns, and it was mainly on mining, and that happened a long time. Ankpa to Ihima, there are about 7 local governments in between. So why would the problem in Ankpa necessarily like obstruct what is activities in Ihima? Or you're also talking about the issues, communal clash, I think, in Kotokarifi. Kotokarifi is about 2 hours away from Ihima. So these are all fabricated stories to restrict her movement. If you would remember, I think it was last week that the governor of Bayelsa, Governor Diri, issued a press conference that, canceling the rally, pro-Wike rally, you know. So if it was that serious, they should have come out, issued out a press conference where all this was was on social media. It was ill thought. They didn't think it through. I think the police was not even carried along. So, you know, Mr. Fanwo has been appointed to do a lot of damage control when these things happen. He's almost left his position as a commissioner to tend to trivialities like this.
As we begin to wind down, let's talk about the issue of the recall. The recall is in progress. The last time we heard about it was that some things were not included by the petitioners in their address, their email, and all of that. They were able to regularize and get that done. And I think the next phase is for INEC to bring all parties to verify all of the signature, as well as that those people are from your constituency in Kogi Central. She's been having a running battle with the Senate leadership, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and now the Kogi State government. What can you give us as a progress report as far as that recall process is concerned? And what do you see, in your view, playing out without necessarily knowing what will play out? Nobody knows, but we saw the number of supporters yesterday as well.
Well, the recall is all a sham, because as you saw from the people, the crowd that were able to, that made it to her house despite all the restriction, do they look like people that are ready to recall Senator Natasha? She's loved by her people, and I think it's going to, it will fall like a pack of cards, you know. It will have a domino effect. It's going nowhere. The recall, as we saw, we already saw videos on social media where people sat down in their houses, some printing and doing all sorts of things. For God's sake, how can you say that a recall was done within, I think, 3 days? Nobody knew about it. I've contested in an election before, and it took us 6 months of vigorous campaign, canvassing, you know, to bring people out of their houses to vote from all parties, and all were able to muster. The election that brought Senator Natasha in was just over 100,000 people, and within 3 days they have signatures of 250,000. In fact, this recall should have a special place in the Guinness Book of World Records, because I just don't know what it is.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program. It's an ongoing conversation. This is what happens in politics. So they say a game is a game. That's what one of the ladies who is at the vanguard of it was, when she was granted an interview, she said the game is the game. Perhaps that's what she means. So, well, we'll keep tab with it and follow the development. We must thank you, Kuburat Kolo, former PDP House of Assembly aspirant in Kogi State, coming on the program. Thank you, ma'am, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears to Benue State. There's insecurity in Benue State and how it's been reported, and some developments we'll need to zoom in on. Will be our next conversation in just a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. My next guest to speak about the security situation in Benue State is Kennedy Angbo. He's a member representing Otukpo-Ankpa State constituency in Benue State, joining us from Abuja studio. Mr. Angbo, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming on the program. Let's begin with your quick overview.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Let's begin with your overview of the security situation in Benue. I'm looking at some things report that there was herdsmen killing about 6 persons in February. The Otukpo-Ankpa Ado-LGA road linking Ebonyi State is a hotbed for the killer herdsmen kidnapping people. There was herdsmen operating in the same area on Monday around the Asha axis, killing 1 man and injuring the other. On Sunday, there was an attack on St. Helens Specialist Hospital where a man was kidnapped and his son while they were on admission. I could go on and on. This is some of the pictures, and sometimes we feel everything is not reported. But you're the one representing the area and a member of the State House of Assembly. So give us an overview of what we're dealing with in Benue State.
Just to put it straightforward, it's quite terrible. It's a dire situation we have in Otukpo, and indeed the entire Zone C, the 9 local governments, apart from the 2 in Igede land, which is Obianuju. There's hardly any local government in that axis that is not almost within a sizable control, or at least of the terrorists, the headers and the kidnappers. So they double as both headers who come and inflict pain on our people, chase them out of their lands, stop them from farming, take up their crops and feed their cows. That's the kind of situation we have. And then at the same time, they are killing people, and then they are also kidnapping people for ransom. It's quite terrible. There's a story of a woman who was kidnapped on the 1st of April. They went for her husband, didn't see the husband at home, and so they kidnapped her. And from that day till now, they've been raping her every time. And every time they rape her, they put a call across to the man, just so that they can torture him and ask him to come to submit himself. That's how dire the situation is. I can go on and on. Killings, you've just reeled them out. killings have become a habitual thing on a daily basis in Ojukbo, where I represent. And unfortunately, the security agencies are unable to check these occurrences. These marauders come in at will at any time they want to. They sack the communities, they kidnap people, they maim them, they rape them, and it's unfortunate. Mr. Onche was just killed 2 days ago. Before then, the night before then, one Miss Felicia Ochibo was killed. Another Iboma was killed. I mean, the case is it just keeps increasing. Just another day before then, 2 of my associates were kidnapped. They were on their way to Wakekeep and they were kidnapped. Luckily for them, the early hours of that morning, their captors were asleep and then they fled. But then that was not even enough for that angered them. And the next morning, the next day, they went to that same community where these boys were from or are from, and they went and kidnapped people and brutalized one Miss Eganyo in that community of Igbeji.
Okay.
So you have these cases all over the place. It's a terrible situation we have, and unfortunately, the security agencies are not doing enough. When you complain, they would rather tell you that there is no insecurity in Ojukbo, but the truth is far from what they are telling us.
Honorable, my apology, Honorable Angbo. So I'm trying to wonder what is going on here. One of the things I read out was the fact that a man and his son that were on admission in the hospital were kidnapped by these guys. So what is really going on? You're a member of the State House of Assembly. So I expect yourself and perhaps your colleagues to hold the governor and the government to account to protect your own people. And we've had conversations on both sides, people, on both sides, even government coming in. And the feelers is like, whether it's underreported or living in denial. So you are part of the government. So when we talk about the government of Benue State, you are part of that government as the legislative branch. So what is really hampering progress in terms of bringing this to a stop or minimizing it? Is it that the government is living in denial or the government is overwhelmed? Do they need a declaration of a state of emergency in in that sector? And why is the State Assembly failing to hold the governor to account to secure your people?
Thank you for that very important question. Our role and responsibility is to make sure the government and particularly the executive arm does what is right. I'm supposed to be on the floor today moving a motion on this matter. But the reason why I chose to be here rather than to move a motion is that we've moved motions and these motions have not yielded the desired results. Whether there is denial, whether there is our inabilities to, I can tell you for a fact that the situation is overwhelming because quite a number of local governments are under attack. But then we must not trivialize it and make it just strictly the thing of the governor's ability or inability to curb this insecurity. It's far from that. If you recall that the former governor, Otom, was always hue and cry here and there all the time. And it's because what is going on is not just few elements of criminals. Is calculated attempt, is staged, it is planned, it is sponsored. And I can tell you that unless the federal government wades into it, and I'm not asking for a state of emergency, that is not what we're asking for. We're saying that the government must be drastic enough deploying its resources. Now, it's one thing for you to deploy resources, it's another thing for them to tell you that they don't have clearance from Abuja. 2 years ago, when there was an attack in Ojukbo on the banks, the military could not do anything because they said they didn't have clearance from Abuja. If you ask the Commissioner of Police, he will tell you that he's waiting for signal. So it is far beyond the governor's call of duty. Security, like you know, is centralized. And until we can decentralize that process where the communities by themselves can rise up and say, we would man our borders, we would check everything that happens around our communities. Until then, you and I were going to be talking about this. So we've been talking about this. You go to Ebonyi, you say the same thing. You go to the east, the northwest. You go to the southeast, south, and the west. It's all the same thing. So we must absorb the governors from always putting the blames on them. Until we can give the governors the power.
Yeah, my apologies. As we begin to wind down, I don't know how you want us to absorb I know that the governor, in fact, when Yeson Wike was governor of Rivers State, he used to say he's not the chief security officer. He says he's the chief logistics officer because he can't control any of the security apparatus. But we cannot run away from holding the person who is in charge account. What effort is he making to minimize this? If you can answer in 30 seconds as we begin to wind down. Because he has to take responsibility as well.
Yeah, let me tell you part of the things he's doing. One, we believe that as people, as a representative of the Otukpo people, I believe that one of the things the governor can do that would help us is, yeah, we don't expect that he will be able to curb it, but he should come to Otukpo and visit with the people and commiserate and show us sympathy and be there for us. But then number two is the fact that when you look at it critically speaking, the issue of this insecurity must be squarely laid. That the people who have the responsibility to address this issue are, number one, the DSS, the police, the NSCDC, and the rest of them. We must allow them to do their job. If the governor recently gave trucks in hundreds to these security agencies, what would that help them to do? If the governor says, and I can tell you for a fact that in the wake of all these attacks, we have escalated this to the governor, and he has also mandated his security advisor to get to the matter. And the security advisor has given marching orders to the security agencies to do their job. But then, up until now, no arrest has been made. Up until now, we do not know how much they have done to be able to bring the people who are in captivity out.
All right, Honorable. It's an ongoing conversation. Did you say the governor has not visited Zone C since this incident? Tukpo?
I am saying that in the wake of these attacks, that the people are expecting, and I speak for the people are expecting the governor to visit Tukpo and speak to them and let them know that he is with them. That's what my people expect of him.
All right, we'll continue to keep tab on what's going on in Benue. We must thank you for coming through as just leaving the motion you're moving and coming to the program. We appreciate you for that. Kennedy Angbo is the member representing the Otukpo-Ankpa State constituency in the Benue State House of Assembly. Thank you, sir. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.